Yesterday, the Supreme Court denied Donald Trump's absolute final last remaining attempt to cancel out his election loss in Wisconsin. The Supreme Court order was unsigned with no noted dissent, simply saying justices are declining to take up Donald Trump's lawsuit. This is the lawsuit in which Donald Trump claims Wisconsin's election officials violated the Constitution by letting more people vote absentee due to the pandemic. Remember that Joe Biden won Wisconsin by about 20,000 votes. Donald Trump sued over those results about a month after the 2020 election. This is now, if you are keeping track, more than 60 total losses and one narrow win, which did nothing for Trump in terms of the election when Trump went to court over the election. Now, just because they rejected the case doesn't mean that nobody at the Supreme Court wanted to hear the case. The court's denial of Trump's appeal yesterday means that fewer than 4 justices agreed to hear the case. It's conceivable that 1, 2, or 3 of them did actually want to take this case. And recently, a few of the more right-wing justices suggested they might actually be interested in looking at issues relating to what the Constitution says about the authority that states have to decide how to run an election, including things like expanding absentee ballots during a pandemic to everyone who wants one. Here, we don't know if 0, 1, 2, or 3 justices wanted to hear the case, only that not enough wanted to hear it, and thus they will not be hearing the case. Now, I should also mention, and this is really a bigger story about the psyche of the American right at this point in time. Even if the Supreme Court decided to take this case, it's all pointless. And it's pointless for a few reasons. Number one, it's not clear that you can nullify an election after the electoral votes have been certified and counted and the next president is in office. Even if somehow the Supreme Court had taken this case and the Supreme Court decided Wisconsin should not have expanded absentee voting, and somehow that led to so give Wisconsin to Trump, which also is no foregone conclusion, even if the case were taken up by the court and they decided the absentee ballots shouldn't have been expanded. That doesn't even mean Trump gets the state. But even if Trump did get the state, it still doesn't give Donald Trump enough electoral votes to get to 270. And so it's all pointless. But this is officially the last remaining loose end. And as I was reading about this morning, my takeaway is, as we learned as we approached March 4th, when there were many people who thought Trump is going to get reinaugurated on March 4th, the day came and went, and of course it didn't happen. There are a significant number of people in this country who believe, as an ongoing matter, that it's plausible that once the term of a new president has started, that courts might just say they're out, previous guy goes in, and the previous president would just be reinstated because of some kind of overlooked mistake somewhere in there where, people in Wisconsin shouldn't have been allowed to vote absentee for any reason. Like the idea being the president it's just some guy and they could be replaced at any time and it would just be kind of like no big deal. Someone would just say, John Roberts would bang a gavel. I don't know if the Supreme Court has gavels at this point, would bang a figurative gavel, a proverbial gavel, and Biden's escorted out and Trump is escorted back in. Like the idea that that's even a possibility shows you how either ignorant or deeply committed to these delusions so many people are. And part of the reason why is that right-wing media for the last 4 months has essentially been based on the idea, even if they don't say it, when Fox News, Newsmax, OAN, Rush Limbaugh, while he was still doing his show and alive, etc., they run on the idea all the time that the reason for their principled conservatism is that tradition is super sacred. Things can't be modified. History, precedent, tradition, norms. But in this case, it's like if Amy Coney Barrett decides they're going to do it, they pull Biden out 2 months into his term and say somebody else is going to replace him. And it really shouldn't be that surprising because these are the same people, even the ones that didn't participate in the January 6th riots. many believed that storming the Capitol with whatever violence they deemed to be necessary could theoretically prevent Joe Biden from becoming president. It's the same ideology. If you think that maybe March 4th Biden gets yanked out, or maybe the Supreme Court in March or April or May decides Biden out, Trump in, if you believe that's possible, you're probably the same type of person who believes we might be able to physically do something in Washington, D.C. on the 6th that will give Donald Trump a second term. And many of them, their ignorance was weaponized by the fact that they were able to be convinced of that. And this is really the bigger principle of modern American conservatism. It's the old idea of conservatism. We must maintain traditional values and ideas and procedures and resist change for the in-groups, right? But if all of a sudden those values and protocols and traditions protect or bolster some outgroup, be it Democrats or minorities or whoever else, then the principles go in the trash, and something like a violent uprising on January 6th to prevent Biden from being president despite winning seems like a reasonable and acceptable thing to do. That's modern conservatism, and it is based in the hypocrisy we've seen from the Republican Party for a long time. One of our sponsors is privacy.com. They're giving you $5 when you sign up for their completely free service at privacy.com/Pakman. I've been using Privacy for a little over a year now. You've heard me talk about it before. It's a lifesaver, and here's how it works. Takes just a couple of minutes to set up. Anytime you buy something online or on the phone, instead of actually using your real credit card number, the Privacy app and the browser plugin let you give each company a randomized virtual credit card number that you create out of thin air. It'll even autofill the card number with one click. And the payment is taken out of your checking account without the merchant ever knowing your real information. So this allows you to keep your banking information secure, but also to take control of your finances. You can create up to 12 of these virtual credit cards a month. You can set spending limits. You can freeze them. You can delete them anytime you want. So when you do this, it means you're not going to be charged when you don't want to be, because you can destroy the virtual card number right after using it, which, for instance, I love using free trials because I know I won't be charged when the trial is over if I use a virtual credit card number. You're keeping your identity private by not telling companies who you are. You're keeping your bank or credit card info protected against data breaches and identity theft, and it's free. And like I said, you'll get $5 to spend when you sign up at privacy.com/Pakman.